Hi guys, my name is Rex and this is my friend Carrie. Carrie and I have worked together making music going back almost 25 years now. I met him in a recording studio called Living Head Audio Recording here in Phoenix, Arizona. And he's done literally thousands of recordings over the years, playing guitars and all types of instruments. And so what we're going to do today is take a look at a guitar that he hasn't had a chance to play yet or look at for that matter. And so these are just kind of reaction videos where we see what he thinks of the guitar from a professional musician's perspective and from a studio musician's perspective, and just kind of get a reaction to the guitar. This particular one is in a National Guitar Workshop case, which I got back in 1999, about the same time I met Carrie, as a
So
matter
there's
of
no
fact.
clue as to what's
Yeah,
actually in there.
yeah, no, it's just a hiding case for this guitar. But okay, we'll have Carrie open up this guitar and take a look at it and see what he thinks. I think the zipper's up on that end.
This is going this way?
Yeah. This one barely fit into this case.
Okay. Hey. All right. Ooh-wee. Look at that candy apple fun there. Well, that's a nice iridescent finish.
Candy apple red metallic finish on this Eastwood LG150 is the name of this guitar. It is a nod to some guitars out of Japan back in the late 1960s.
It's kind of what if a Taisco Del Rey was also a high quality instrument.
Now, this is by a company called Eastwood, and they're associated with two other companies, kind of the Revolta company and the Dennis Fano Novo Guitars company. But this is a little more modestly priced guitar. I got it because I just thought the shape was just so interesting. And the fact that it had 4 single coil pickups in there that are all combinable in different amounts with the different switches. Nice. So you can turn them into kind of humbucking type of pickups by combining them. But yeah, and a short little, feels short, the neck on it. I'll pull up the stats as you're playing there.
And like early 60s, late 50s, early 60s, Taisco Del Rey's guitars out of Japan. And here in America, they would show up at, J.C. Penney's, Sears, Kmart,
there was one called a Gaiatone that looked a lot like this one.
The Gaiatones, yeah. And rarely were they good guitars. Not always a construction, but they'd have like horrible setups and stuff. But people developed a love over the years for how wanky they looked, for how great and whimsical in late 50s and early 60s they looked. So in a way, this is kind of a really sensible dream of, what if you had a guitar with those crazy, cool, 1962 Taisco Del Rey, the Japanese at the same time that they're making Godzilla and Mothra movies or whatever, are making these guitars, that look like this. But
so Eastwood's put a basswood body on this. It's got
cool.
The neck is a bolt-on maple neck on the back of it. It's got a 24 3/4 inch scale, so a little shorter than the previous guitar we looked at.
Yeah, little bigger than a Gibson, smaller than a Fender.
Volume control, tone control on there. That's what you've got. And the switches are really the turning on and off the various pickups there for the combinations.
Nice beefy bridge there.
Yeah.
It looks like a quality bridge. Yeah, it's so cool to have a guitar that looks like the old cheap Taiscos that look so cool, but then I can tell it's going to have the construction and the playability of a functional professional guitar. As Rex told you, I am a professional. Don't try this at home, kid.
Well, let's take a minute and we'll get this plugged in and tuned up and we'll come back. Okay, we've got the Eastwood LG150 tuned up and we'll take a listen, see what's going on. Once again, our signal path here is a Boss GX100, and that's going into a Princeton Reverb. We got a 57 mic on there to take the signal over to our recording gear, and then we'll also take a direct signal out of this GX100, and maybe when I do the video, maybe we'll mix a little bit of both in there. But any initial thoughts here before you start playing?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the pickup possibilities, which looks really cool, because you have a three-way toggle, which is probably this one, these two, maybe, and this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Huh?
maybe all four.
Oh no, all four in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
probably,
All
right?
four in the
All
middle.
four, yeah. So this one and this one, or all four. But these little Amana radar range buttons here turn these on and off. So if you had them both off, you kind of got a real Telecaster thing happening. Neck, both, I believe. And yeah, there's that twangy bridge. So that's pretty versatile. Because a lot of times you want a two pickup guitar like that, that's fine. But then how cool to have these guys be part of it. Now, if I turn that on and you go to the neck, is it both of them or just one of them?
I think that's both of them. Yep, they're both
okay.
up.
So hidden with not very many buttons and stuff is really a whole lot of choice, isn't there, of sound? So that's really cool. You can have every combo. Just about. These two is a very distinct sound and probably kind of humbuckery, you know, taking all the nice. And then same deal. These two would be a lot different than just one of them. There's two of them. Yeah, so this is just this one. Bottom one toward the very well made, that's a really nice slab of chrome with some good looking saddles on it in the bridge. And all four.
Right there, yeah.
That's all four?
Both down, be all.
Both down, yeah.
Yeah.
And another vintagey vibrato. You're not going to do Eddie Van Halen dives on this thing or anything, but these aren't for that. These are for a whole other thing, and kind of the cool way that you hear in a lot of old music, or even almost like David Gilmour, even, right? Or like in Pink Floyd, used to like his whammy a lot as just, you know, like he'd get a mountain of sustain on the string and just go a little bit rather than that, because that's kind of two different types of vibrato. It's not a lot of distortion, but it is good sustaining. Still moderate distortion, but. I want to get a buddy with a Farfisa organ and just do that rock and party music with this thing. something a little more lanky on here. It can be pretty. Let's hear what it does with a little more.
SG Badfinger kind of vibe going on there.
Yeah.
A little bit.
More versatile than you'd think, because of its looks, like it's kind of saying, well, you better stick to fun surf music and, early Elvis Costello or something, but which it would be fantastic on all the above. But yeah, because of all the pickup combinations and just being a pretty well-made guitar. And then you say this is really in the budget range for such a pretty thing. What kind of prices are these?
I'll look it up, but I think they're in the $700-800-ish range,
Yeah.
right?
And there's a lot of guitars in that range that don't excite you or make you think, oh, I got like 20 pickup sounds and all this cool stuff. And I have to admit, I just want to be able to show up with. I just want to be the guy that pulls this out of its kit. Yeah, I brought this one tonight. Everybody, spits out their beers or whatever. Does it invalidate being a good blues player if you show up with it? Because it would be great, Man.
So each time we do one of these, we kind of ask him, does it have a thumbs up from a studio musician's perspective? Is it a tool that might be used for something now and then?
Yeah, it really is. Its looks are so stunning to someone that they might think, well, that thing's got to be kind of weird or a one-trick pony or something. But that's what I really admire about the thing that makes any guitar really great to me is no matter what they look like, it's just kind of fun that it looks like this. But they didn't skimp on what makes it a real guitar. This is a great feeling neck, and the frets are nice and polished. And you heard all that sustain I was getting and stuff. The clean sounds are neat. Big old combos. Is it a Strat? Is it a Tele? Is it something we've never heard before? So it's got all that going for it, and it could be, you could be in a Stevie Ray Vaughan band or something and play this thing. People might not think so when they saw it.
Probably throw the beer bottles at you.
Yeah. You'd have to dodge a few beer bottles, but after a few songs, they'd be going, okay.
That guitar probably got the most reactions from people when I sent a picture of it out when I picked it up a year or two ago, and at least half of the people did not react positively to that picture.
And me and Rex kind of share something on that. We haven't lost our love for the wonderful instruments of the 20th century and our lives and stuff. Believe me, if somebody pulls out, the greatest Rickenbacker, the most beautiful Gretsch, the baddest Strat, the most gorgeous SG Les Paul, whatever. We're as excited as anybody in the world about it. But you don't want to get narrow-minded about it and see something like this and go, you know, I know some of Rex's friends are like, dude, are you okay? Or, you know, are you, you know, Rex is getting up there in years. We're starting to worry a little bit. Did you see that red thing he bought? You know, but that's exactly what's cool about it. You know, I think it's so cool to show up with, what the hell is that wanky thing? And then it's killer. It's a good guitar. And then just play good on it. And why not have fun and appreciate this? Eastwood's a really cool company that that kind of latched onto something. Let's sort of remake every really cool vintage thing that Americans always loved and stuff, but we'll also make them good guitars at a reasonable price. Okay, I'll go for that. Listen to how nice and clean.
You know, I hear a lot of people, particularly in my age bracket, they'll say there's no good music being created anymore because they're kind of honed in on music from the 60s or the 70s or the 80s or whatever decade that they were young. And but I find music is still music, and interesting stuff is being performed today. The older we get, I find I need to push myself a little bit more and experiment with more and different things. And so on this series, we did our first guitar was the headless guitar. And then we went into a kind of a retro, more of a chambered body guitar. And now we're here with this funky 60s shape. We'll get another one to go after this. And if you guys like these kind of videos, frankly, these are the kind of videos Carrie and I would want to make if we were traveling around the country and had the opportunity to stop into a guitar shop and pull a guitar off the shelves and just play it and look at it and then talk about it. This is the kind of thing that we would be doing. We love Martins and we love Gibsons and Fenders and Gretches and all those guitars, but we're also willing to pull a lesser known guitar down and give it a try. And then just sitting here in the room, guys, the tone on this is pretty amazing for a little guitar, isn't it? It's just really got a lot going on.
And look, I put a little classic tremolo on it, and you know, now we're in a Clint Eastwood movie. Or whatever, you know, there's just so much, you know, or that's a pretty gentle tremolo, that's nice. And I think it probably succeed. Do I have a really ridiculous sound here somewhere? Yeah. Yeah, if it was really loud, I could probably walk up to the amp and get that to give us some gorgeous feedback that would sustain until Wednesday, you know? Yeah. If you open up some song with that kind of stuff, would anyone say, yeah, but it's a silly looking red guitar? You know, no, because good music is happening. So,
well, thank you guys.
Another winner.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you like us, give us a like on there and tune in. Give us comments. We'd like to hear from you, see what you think about these guitars. And we may do a few more of these and see how it turns out.
Rex is buying a lot of guitars these days, so now it helps me not be in the club with these guys going, well, what's he doing? Buying all those crazy things. And, you know, so far everyone that he's pulled out has been, well, I see what you're doing. No wonder you love this song with it. Plus, you like red guitar.
Yeah, I do like red.
Rex likes red guitars. So this already caught his eye from across the room, I'm sure.